So we have our basic gameplay together now. It's time to actually get a proper game loop running. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a spawner that's going to have enemies popping into the game, and we'll be going from there. So initially this is just going to be spawning enemies in, making sure it works, and then we're going to move on to wave spawners. So to do this, I'm going to open up my game mode. And now if it comes into this, great. If it doesn't, you may need to click on the Open Full Blueprint Editor button. Now when it pops in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag off of this, and after the game begins, I'm going to set a timer. And I'm going to set the timer by event. And this event is going to be rather simple. All we're going to do is I'm going to drag off of that, and I'm going to add a custom event. And the custom event is going to be called spawn enemy. Okay. Now, to spawn an enemy, what I'm going to be doing is get all actors of class. So I'm going to find every single location that we currently have a player start. And then from all of those player starts, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get the last index. No, sorry, I want to get. And what I actually want to get is the length. Now I'm not getting last index because random, when told to go between a number, actually selects a number between random length minus 1. So what I mean by that is if I get length and I get a random integer, this looks for a random number between 0 and max minus 1. Now the length of the array is the number of things in it, and the last index in the array is the length minus 1. So I can use this, connect this to here, and tell it to get that, and that will now get me a reference to that player start. Once I've done that, all I need to do is spawn AI from class, and I want to get the location and rotation from the player start. Finally, I'm going to tell the actor class that we're spawning to be the character that I created. And I'm going to tell it to loop every 5 seconds. Loop. Compile, save. Now, for the time being, we currently only have one player start in there. But you know what? That's actually okay. And the reason that that's okay is I can see if this is working or not very quickly. So it's okay for me to have that kind of set up. And you'll notice that as they pop in, the character immediately started chasing after me, which is great. A couple of seconds later. Now, we're noticing a bit of a flaw in our AI, which is that it takes 5 seconds for them to do anything, because we wait 5 seconds before calling process AI for the first time. However, we have got ourselves with the basics of a gameplay. So if I look at this and I get the player start and I alt drag it around the map, I can just hit end to lower it to the ground to make sure it's okay. Alt drag up to here, alt drag over to here. I can now have, when I hit play, every 5 seconds, so one spawned there. And if I run around, oh, another one had spawned over there. We've got ourselves a basic game. So, that's the basics of our initial gameplay. However, quite often you want to do things such as creating spawners. So what I'm going to do in this situation is I'm going to show you how to create a wave spawner, which means we spawn units in a group, and then when they're all finished off, we then spawn another, most likely bigger and deadlier group.